Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Winning Edge Sports Podcast. Episode 6. It's been a couple of episodes since we last were all together as the three of us. I'm your host, Ben Black, and joined in the studio, well, on Zoom today, is Patrick Fry on my left and Aiden down on below me. And so it's been a while, Aiden, since you last joined Pat and I, but last episode we were joined by Junior Berentelio, about who's just the Australian basketball Boomers team manager, who's about to fly over to Paris for the Olympics with the Boomers. And yeah, we've got a lot in store for today. So how are we both today, boys?
Good. It's good to be kind of back together, even though we're not in person, but we can make do what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good to be back. As you said, we're over Zoom again, and I actually think this may be our seventh episode. Our episode with Junior that we
Sure.
recorded was our sixth, so we're back for
Yeah.
another
Well, if we're
episode.
being
Yeah,
technical, this would be episode 8, Pat. But anyway.
true.
But a lot to unpack this week. So I guess we'll start with the AFL. So round 17 kicked off last Friday night with Essendon taking on Collingwood. The Essendon ended up winning by 12 points, 92 to 80. And so how did we see that game? Obviously, from my angle, being a Collingwood supporter, it wasn't too good. Like losing two in a row is not always pleasing, but there was a lot of standout performances.
Well, I was trying to tell Pat during the day that Essendon was going to win, and he didn't believe me. I told him, Essendon want to finally get a win, and they'll probably win. But I didn't think like it'd be because Essendon led by what 5 goals at one stage or 6 goals.
Yeah, that was Collingwood in the first quarter. I think Jack Crisp kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, and I had my
Yep.
hopes up. I think it was 3 goals in like 5 minutes. So, and then it just
Yeah, and
went.
that's all he ended up kicking. So,
Yeah, but in
But
a
yeah,
we,
positive
we
note,
won't we won't mention what Aiden said. How Aiden mentioned how Essendon could win, and I said that Colin would win because we were together, but we're not going to mention that because I got my tip wrong. So it's not looking too good for me with my tips, but we'll just forget about that.
yeah, and then we go to the Saturday. North Melbourne took on Gold Coast Suns, and North seemed like they got the win, which is for
It
a
doesn't
while
seem
there.
like it. They did there.
They did, yeah. But I was reading a comments during the week of I think Paul Roos saying that like they were very comparison to a Carlton reserve side, and then I think after the game it was very much like I take my words back sort of thing. But
well, at least
credit
he's
to
being
North Melbourne,
honest.
yeah. Credit to North Melbourne, they got the win, and yeah, like a lot of pretty big games from like McKercher and Sheasel both having 35 disposals. Nick Larkey and Teakle both scoring goals. And it's just another loss to Gold Coast. Like, they just can't win on the road.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
was saying. They just can't win away from home, which is a true fact. They can't. Well, it's boring if they can't win away from home because every game, well, the grand finals in Melbourne. So,
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I think Damien
I think
Hardwick had
that may be a few weeks away, few years away, a grand final
but yeah,
for
but you know what I mean. But you still got to win away to make a grand
yeah.
final. Is what I'm trying to say.
sure
You can't.
you do.
And Damien Hardwick had a
But
few lippy words to say in his press conference. Just,
a few kind
um,
words, if you ask me.
yeah, just
Yeah,
needed to
just a
grow
few.
up a bit.
Yeah.
Um, and then other games, Port Adelaide got back on the winners list. Well, they did last week against St Kilda the week before, but they beat the Bulldogs. They just looked pretty dominant. Like if you
Yeah,
ask
I
me,
wasn't
like
expecting this to be honest. I didn't think it was gonna be an 8 goal win, but the dogs just never looked like the dogs. They just seemed like they were tired and they didn't really try.
mm,
But I don't want to say try, but like they just didn't have the energy that you'd think from the game. But
yeah,
Fighters
would
Rosie
you?
played well.
They both did, yeah, both racking up multiple 38 disposals, or 30 plus disposals for like Wines, Butters, and Rosie. Georgiades kicked 5 goals. Bond,
Big game.
uh, yeah, it was a big game. I think it was probably a much needed game for Georgiades. Like I don't think he'd kicked many goals for the season. So it must have been a confidence boost of him. And then
Especially with
July,
Dixon being out. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
with
go.
Dixon being out for another few weeks, I think, because of his suspension from the Sandful. But
Yeah.
Especially,
yeah,
yeah. And then Geelong took on Hawthorn. First time since 2006 that they went down to GMHBA.
Hold on, before we continue, can we?
Sure.
You mentioned briefly on Connor Rosie. All
Yeah.
right, like what about the game that he had though?
Yeah.
Like he finished the game, in my opinion, best on ground. I'm
Yeah.
not sure about you guys, but he finished with 2 goals, 36 disposals, and had 8 tackles and 7 clearances.
Surely that gets the 3 votes.
It
Who
it
knows?
should, like, to me, he's worthy of those 3 votes. We'll see how he matches up. Like obviously, like in that game, you'll obviously have Bontempelli, or I doubt it's going to get 3 votes after the game that Bulldogs had, but you also have Zach Butters, and then you also had Georgiades, who had 5 goals in that game. So it'll be interesting to see how many votes Rosie does get in the Brownlow voting. But in my
Yeah.
opinion, he should get 3.
Yeah.
He seems 100% healthy as well now. So he's not, with that hamstring. Was it Rosie or Bonnets? It was Rosie.
Yeah, it was Rose, yeah. And then obviously Geelong took on Hawthorn at GMHBA. First time since 2006 that Hawthorn have travelled down there. So
That's a long time.
yeah, like I think it was one of those games I think the AFL Aiden penciled down at the end of the year because where Hawthorn finished last year but the fact that
And
Hawthorn
Geelong then was a struggling team too because they weren't. Well,
exactly.
they weren't struggling, but they weren't grand final or they were 2008.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
And
Sorry.
then so Jeremy Cameron and Brad Close both kicked 4 goals. Mitch Lewis kicked 2, but he's sadly done his ACL again. And Pat, you had your eye on Dylan Moore.
Yeah, I did. We've spoken about this, the 3 of us. I reckon Dylan Moore, in my opinion, is like Connor Rosie against Bulldogs. He's worthy of those 3 votes for this game. I mean, I got the stats up here. I mean, yeah, he finished but minus the loss that Hawthorn had, like he finished with a behind, which not really the greatest. 6 tackles, 2 clearances. Sorry, he finished with a behind, 6 tackles, 2 clearances, 559 meters gained, 2 goals and 26 disposals.
Mm. Very
Well, I was
handy
looking
game.
at stats.
So
There's not many you can choose from that could get the 3 votes in this game. I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, that's not
yeah,
really stand out.
No,
Did Sam Dakota kick 2 goals? Am I reading this correct?
he did.
Sam Dakota
Yeah.
kicked 2 goals. Was he playing full
Yeah.
forward or full back?
I think he was
So I
playing
didn't
a
watch
bit
this
of
game. I'll
ruck
be
as
perfectly
well.
honest.
Yeah.
Jeez, he's playing everywhere.
Yeah. And then I think we might briefly touch over this just for your sake, Pat, but your Blues against the Giants. Yeah. It was a very much like I thought it was gonna be a bag is absolutely annihilation. And then it's just like very much like the Collingwood game. It just
yeah,
went down.
it was a very, very up and down game. I mean, both teams, Carlton in the first quarter, got up by I think as much as like 40 points
Yeah.
sometime like late
57
in
to
the
like
first
19.
quarter. Yeah. And then obviously we all know what happened after that, really. But
They're just
look,
allowing it.
nonetheless, though, like what a lot of people don't actually remember is Carlton
Oh, we
actually ended
remember.
up kind of coming back though. Well, that's the thing. They came back. They
Yeah.
only, it may seem like, oh, damn, like Carlton lost. All right. And to Giants up there, but like we only lost by 12 points. We did actually kind of come back in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, after they
So,
came back the first time. Anyway,
yeah,
And then yeah, that was
we'll just stop talking about that.
and okay, well we'll go to the next game. Then Freo took on the Tigers in Perth. Freo are a bit of a surprise packet this year because I honestly don't think many people actually tipped them in the finals this year.
well, they're third on the ladder.
The
That's
third.
like
It's sort of
Yeah,
like
but you have a look at how close the ladder is right now.
yeah,
I mean, the ladder
that's what I mean.
between like fifth and like 13th is like the matter of like
a game
one
or
and a
two.
half games.
Yeah.
Yeah, a game and a half. So it's very close, like that part of the ladder. And although Fremantle are currently sitting third,
Mm.
Like that can change like in a matter of 2 weeks.
Well,
In
yeah,
two
because
weeks' time, they
the
can.
Giants were second at one point, and then they're eighth now, but they were close to being the eight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then
there was
like
plenty.
you also have a look. I mean, I'm sorry to bring this up, Ben, but like Collingwood are back out of the eight. And
Yeah.
last week you guys were in, or 2 weeks ago you were in the top four. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
can change in a matter of weeks.
Exactly.
I still think
And
Sydney's kind of safe in the top two. That's all. I'm not. That's the only one I'm
don't
gonna
say it
do.
too soon. They might lose 4 in a
Knock
row.
on wood, but yes, I think Sydney are safe at the moment.
But what
And
about
then
Carlton?
not yet, Pat.
I mean,
No.
you said Carlton. You know, they're still. If they won on Saturday, I would have given them maybe breathing space. But they've got a few teams chasing the L.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the thing. I think now we're like half a game clear or a game clear of third.
Mm.
No, half a game.
So
So
it's
it's second.
half a
Second is
game.
up for grabs this week. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's only because Essendon grabbed up that draw against Collingwood earlier in the year.
Mm.
I
Realistically,
mean,
looking at the ladder, Carlton could be as low as 6th or 7th. Actually, no,
Mm.
6. Sorry, 6.
Yeah.
yeah,
Then we go to Sunday. Melbourne took on West Coast. Lo and behold, it was just recently Adam Simpson's last game as head coach for the Eagles. Um, there's not really much to add about it, but
as
like,
head coach though, like
yeah,
that's the thing. I heard it on the radio today, and it was kind of like the question of, and I don't reckon he will. I reckon last week was his final game as the head coach of the West Coast Eagles, but I did hear like kind of like the question of does Adam Simpson coach one last game
mm.
this
I
week?
don't think I think it's
I
been
don't
announced.
reckon he should.
No. Mm. And
I
then
don't think their home crowd will give him a warm position anyway. So I don't think they should.
yeah,
They want a flag under him, but anyway,
yeah, and
Yeah.
then the last game of the round.
second last.
Second last, sorry, second last game. St Kilda and Sydney. Yeah, I had a feeling friends, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to lose to St Kilda." And then like I looked on the Fox Footy, and they were like, "Oh, there's only a micro chance that St Kilda gets up," and I was like, "Well, they got up."
Yeah.
Well, but I'm not worried about Sydney though. Like Sydney, I don't know if I lost 2 in a row, but I'm not. If I'm Sydney, I'm not pressing the red flag or it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment, Sydney can kind of, I don't know, you could probably say they could probably afford to drop a game or two at the moment,
Mm.
Well,
just
yeah, you want to
because,
go
like,
full steam ahead and
yeah,
lose your finals.
exactly. And for the last, like, how many games we got left? I think 6 now.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
6.
we got 6 games left heading before finals, so you kind of want to like go full
Peak at the right
steam
time.
ahead
Yeah.
for those final games to lock in
Yeah.
top spot for Sydney and
Mm.
for many of the other teams currently lock in
Yeah.
that final spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the big
Isaac
talking
Heaney got
point.
suspended.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You go, Aiden. Yeah.
No, you guys are good. It's a good bit.
Well, I was
Sorry.
just saying that, yeah, like obviously Isaac Heaney is now been as of Thursdays we're speaking, Wednesday, been ruled out of the Brownlow for collecting Jimmy Webster across the nose and give him a blood nose, but still giving him a week suspension. Like, where do we stand on that?
So I think there's an appeals. Is that being ruled out?
Yeah, I think that's tonight. I think, yeah.
Yeah, they're also going to go to players review, or I'm not sure what exactly the term is, but they're going to review it once more, from what
Yeah.
I know. Obviously they were unsuccessful yesterday or Monday with the MRO.
Mm.
I don't know. In my opinion, I'm not sure about you guys. In my opinion, I reckon he should get off. And it's
Yeah.
not
I mean, it was
because
soft.
in
It wasn't
my,
the biggest thing.
yeah, like looking at the review and the replay of the incident, like the more you look at it, the more you kind of realize, well, hang on, like what was kind of like in that? I mean, he was just trying to get away from a player to try and get the ball, and well, he ended up getting the bloody nose because of his head being in the wrong place at the wrong time, in my opinion. Like his head like hit Heaney's knee. So
Yeah.
You know who
in
would be
my
happy if
opinion, he should get off.
Jai Silkin would be happy that Webster got a blood nose.
Yes, he would.
Incidents and news.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And then the last game, Adelaide versus Brisbane up at the Gabba. Last time these two played, it was a draw. Brisbane look like they've got their mojo back. They're sitting inside the 8 now. Yeah,
healthy
they've got
percentage.
they've got 4 more games, I think, up at the Gabba. So who knows? Like they could really push for top 4, even though
Yeah.
we said at the start of the year that they really have no chance.
Are you
So
guys surprised how close it was? I'm kind of surprised it was a close game, given that Brisbane whooped Adelaide a few weeks ago.
a little bit, like they
But
didn't
I
obviously.
but I was surprised that it was. I mean, Lockie
Yeah,
Neal had 36 disposals and 3 goals. Like,
yeah.
still,
I still feel
I was
that
just
it was like considering these last two, like the last few times they've played each other, it's been very close. So
yeah.
yeah, I was a little bit not surprised, but then now you take out Isaac Rankin out of that Adelaide team, who's now suspended for 4 weeks. Yeah, so but Brisbane will take the win. And now we go to round 18 for our tips. We'll quickly just run over these. So Collingwood versus Geelong at the G on Friday. Who have we got?
Sorry, Ben, but Cats by 2 goals.
I think Cats will probably still win, to be honest. Like I think we get Jam McStay back next week, but I'm going to tip Geelong. So
Wait, Ben, is this the reverse psychology? Sorry, Pat, go.
Something that I mentioned earlier in the past. I mean, you go for the team that you're playing against, so no matter what, you don't lose or you don't win. Wait, what is it? You don't lose.
You don't lose. You don't win. Well,
I got confused there. I'm actually going to go against both of you guys. I'm actually going to go Collingwood by 3 goals here.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if Collingwood wins now. If Collingwood win, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, I'm going to go Collingwood by 3 goals here. I mean, you do have to have
It'll
a
be
look.
a good game.
I mean,
I
yes,
think it'll be good.
It'll be a good game, definitely. It'll be a close game. Whoever wins, it'll be within. I mean, like I said, Collingwood by 3 goals. So no matter what, it's going to be within 3 goals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Look, I just reckon Collingwood, they're looking to kind of probably bounce back after their game against Essendon last week.
Yeah.
Trying to also start to make it. Going to also try and make a bit of a push for a good spot to lock in for the end of the year with the finals coming up. I just reckon I can definitely see Collingwood taking the win this week.
I mean, both teams want to win to make finals. Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it could be because of the success Collingwood had last year and that winning the flag. I feel like there's a lot more pressure on where Collingwood finishes on the ladder. So I feel like they're wanting to grab a win this week a lot more than Geelong.
And then on the Saturday, Hawthorn Freo, I might just go with. I think Freo might be too strong. What do you boys think?
I'm going to Hawks. Hawks in Tassie. I think the Hawks could get up.
Okay,
Hawks in Tassie.
Sydney North. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Next
Sydney.
question.
North Melbourne. No, Sydney.
Let's go for North Melbourne.
No, Sydney.
I'm saying Sydney.
Bulldogs versus
Sydney.
Sydney.
Bulldogs Carlton.
I'm going to go to Blues, but I think the Dogs will be better than they were last week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go for the Blues as well. Adelaide, St Kilda, Adelaide.
Adelaide just.
Yeah, Adelaide.
Melbourne, Essendon at the G. Boy, I hope the Bombers lose.
Gonna go to the Bombers.
Yeah, I'm going to Essendon.
I'm going to the D's just for an upset. Gold Coast, Port Adelaide at Gold Coast.
I think Gold Coast, because it was the same theory that we've been going with the whole podcast. Gold Coast will win at home.
Gold Coast.
Richmond GWS at the MCG.
I'm gonna go my boys. No bias. I'm going to my boys because the Giants haven't recovered since the grand final 2019.
So you on the
Yeah, all right,
Giants?
I'm going GWS.
Yeah, same. And then West Coast Brisbane at Optus, and it should be Brisbane
Next
should win
question.
that.
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
But with the
But,
Gold Coast put
but
out, I
you
want to
also
quickly touch back on that one.
with that game though, West Coast, you also got to have a look at the history of a club with a new coach.
Yeah,
True.
Just
but
putting that
Brisbane.
out there.
Yeah, that's true. First new
But no,
coach, new
I'm
first win.
still going to go Brisbane, but you do also have to have a look at all those records with like the
yeah,
first game after appointing a new
exactly.
coach.
Yeah, and then
But
they'll
with
be
the
like, "Oh,
with
he's our new coach."
yeah, with our Gold Coast tip, I don't have any confidence that Gold Coast will beat Board, but that's just because
Mm.
Yeah.
it's at home.
Don't get me wrong, though. I still reckon Brisbane will get the win over there in the West, and I reckon by quite a comfortable margin, probably around about 5 goals there.
Okay, and then let's quickly whiz over some multiple other sports. So, cricket, India took over the Cricket World Cup by 7 runs against South Africa over in the West
That's
Indies.
kind of old news, so
Yeah, it is. Oscar Piastri took second place 2 weeks ago in
Yastri.
Austria. Piastri, same.
Yeah, same.
You want me to
Shout out
go through
Oscar if
this
you're listening.
then here?
Yeah, go
Lewis
on, Pat. Tell us about
Hamilton.
Dev one.
Lewis Hamilton wins his first race in over 3 years after finish with his winning the British Grand Prix. Daniel
Wow,
Ricciardo.
Ben, you really need to come up with and learn your Formula
Ev-
One terminology here. Grand Prix.
Grand
Grand
Prix.
Prix.
It's the Grand
Yeah, there
Prix.
you go. There's the accent I wanted.
Max Verstappen finished
You know
That's
what? It's
better.
not terrible.
finished first, followed by Norris in second, and Charles Leclerc finished third.
All right, I'll give you that one. That one's all right. I'll give you that one. That was
He's done
close.
well. He's done
And
well.
Daniel Ricciardo finished fifth. No,
Okay, I didn't know
13th.
this was a Bogan podcast.
G'day, mate. Over in Wimbledon, over in London, it's well and truly underway. Aussie Alex Dominio won his round of 16.
Diminor.
Okay,
Guys,
it's
this is not
tied.
going to get cut anyway, so we're going to keep it like this. It's fine.
It's 8:30 in the afternoon.
I apologize to all of those tennis
Tennis fans.
fans out there who is listening to this. All right,
It's fine.
Ben is not the greatest with his tennis knowledge. All right, Alex Diminor.
Diminor. Okay, there you
There
go.
you go.
Arthur Fields. I hope I spelled that right. 6-2, 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. He goes on to play Novak Djokovic in the quarterfinals. And then Australian Open champion Jannik Sinner lost his quarterfinal against Medvedev. Is that right?
He doesn't put that star one.
Who knows?
Jeez. Okay, the Russia gets pronounced
and-
right.
Yeah. And so, so we'll go over to Aiden to go over the basketball news.
I mean, pack it if you wanted.
I mean, before we do get into the basketball, you also got to probably make a quick mention to the State of Origin going to a
yes.
fair game. They played a couple of weeks ago at the MCG in front of about 90,000, I think there were there, where New South Wales got the win.
Got the
So
dub.
it goes back to goes back to Brisbane next
And
week.
then
I think it is it? For the
Just watch,
deciding.
Pat. They'll get all their emotions up because it's 1-0, and then they'll absolutely get annihilated at Suncorp Stadium.
Ben, I've got a question.
Well,
Where is your New South Wales gear?
I don't know much about rugby league, so
I hardly know
State of
anything about
Origin,
rugby league, and I'm the
so
only New South Welshman here.
true.
So
All right. Going with basketball here, there's actually a bit to uncover, I feel like here. For many people listening, the draft is now done and dusted.
Well, we were going to try to record
Good.
on draft day, but that didn't happen. So
Yeah. A Frenchman by the name of Zachary Riscata.
Risgata,
I'm
jeez, with the
probably,
A.
I'm definitely going to
Roche,
say
but
that
it's
wrong.
fine.
Riche. I definitely got that wrong. He went number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks. A few former NBL players also got picked up. Alex Sarr was taken 2nd overall to Washington Wizards from the Perth Wildcats.
And it
AJ
was
Johnson
mentioned.
from yes,
Sorry.
they were. The NBL finally got a mention in the NBA draft for a couple though. From the Illawarra Hawks, AJ Johnson got picked up, pick number 23 to the Milwaukee Bucks.
That one was a surprise.
From the Cairns Taipans, you have Bobby Klimpman, who was taken 37 to the Detroit Pistons. From Melbourne United,
Okay,
my
Pat.
boy Ariel Hukporti was taken 58th and the final pick in the draft to the New York Knicks.
He's now a two-way.
And then, yes, just signed on a 2-way today, I think it came out. And then in undrafted, Trenton Flowers from Adelaide was later signed by the Clippers. And then we've had a couple Aussies picked up. Johnny Fairview, who played a year at Kansas, was taken 35th to the Indiana Pacers, and Alex Dukas has signed a 2-way deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And you've
Aiden,
got
you want to go through?
Josh Green got traded to Charlotte from being at the Mavericks in part of that big Klay Thompson deal, which I was surprised about, but good on Josh. Joe Ingles signed a new 1-year deal with Minnesota, so he leaves Orlando, I believe he was at last.
Yeah, he
Dustin
was,
Johnson
yeah.
also got traded to Atlanta, which I think for him it's a big good fit because he's getting traded for DeJounte Murray. Josh Giddey got traded to Chicago, which I'm not surprised because of what maybe was told us off air, but I'm not gonna. But
That's for
yeah,
no one to know.
that's fine.
Off the
Well,
record stuff.
a few Aussies are actually moving around in the NBA,
Yes,
and
I
I feel like this
yes,
is.
please.
I feel like this is definitely far from over in terms of where Australians are getting picked up in the NBA or getting traded or whatever, like where they're moving to. So
Yeah,
we'll see with that. Going
Olympics.
down, yeah. Olympics start very soon. Let me just get it up here. I guess we can both. So the Boomers are playing. We'll start off with the Boomers, I reckon. The Boomers are going to play Greece, Spain, and Canada in their group stage, also known now as a group of death. What a lot of people are kind of calling Group
Is that a good
A
thing or a bad thing?
as
Both.
it'll be tough. It'll
Yeah.
be very good.
To
Very
watch basketball,
good.
good basketball.
Yeah. Very
But
well
in terms
watched
of winning,
basketball.
I don't know.
Well, we'll see. The teams, Paddy and Joe Ingles have both been selected for their 5th Olympics. Dellavedova comes back into the squad after missing out in the World Cup last year. Dante Exum, Josh Green, Nick Kay, Jock Landau, Duop Reef, Dyson Daniels, and Josh Giddey all come back into the squad after.
Some of these names, I'm telling you, are just like who names their kid Do Breathe? Or
yeah. They're coming back in after the World Cup last year. Dyson and Josh, as well as new Boomers recruits, Will Magnay and
Recruits.
Jack McVeigh, are all heading over to the Olympics for their first time. And then with the Opals, we have the GOAT,
GOAT.
Lauren Jackson, going for her 5th Olympics and first one in about 12 years after coming out of retirement. You also have Kayla George, Marina Tolo, Tess Madgen, Rebecca Allen, Izzy Magdabor, Alana Smith, Steph Talbot, Christy Wallace, Sammy Whitcomb, Jade Melbourne, and Isabel Borlas are all heading
Always.
over to Paris as well. Well, yeah,
Yes.
that.
Sorry, Izzy, but yes.
Mm.
But yeah, the Opals are
sorry,
good.
Izzy, for that.
But
From watching the Opals last week, they looked really good.
yeah. And what are your two
Yeah, both
expectations?
teams are looking. Both teams are looking good. I'm excited for the Olympics, and I feel like we should also make a quick shout out to the Australian Kangaroos, who are also heading over for the 3x3.
Yes. And the gliders or the rollers? I don't remember which one it's going, but one of them are going over.
Rollers are
Rollers,
heading
yeah.
over for the Paralympics. So
And they looked really good. And one of their players has played in the 6th Olympics as well, Ben. So take that in. He's playing his 6th Olympics.
So it was 6 Olympics that would be making him from Sydney.
24 years, basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I'm excited for the Olympics. I always watch the Olympics. I'm excited for what the basketball teams, pardon me, representing Australia can do. I reckon we can all do really well with those. Aiden.
The Kangaroos are going to, because the Kangaroos are LS3x3 for those don't actually know, but yeah, they look really good.
Yep. All right, so I think that wraps us up, doesn't it, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Zoom call
Hopefully
will
we're back in
probably
studio next week.
Yes, we should be in the studio back by next week. So
Yeah, hopefully next week we will be back in person, face to face with the microphones. So yeah, look forward to that.
Well, I mean, I've got my microphone, but yeah.
Okay, Aiden.
All right, let's close it out. So thanks, guys. This has been another episode of the Winning Edge Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Pat, or co-host Pat, and as well as Ben and Aiden. You can follow us all on social media at the Winning Edge Sports Podcast. You can also listen to this episode and our latest episode with the team manager of the Australian Boomers Junior on Spotify and YouTube at the Winning Edge Sports Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.